Hello, this is just to give you a quick rundown of the useful features of the databases. Use these in your research. It will be very helpful. First thing, make sure you go to the school website, but also if you do not have an EasyBib account, set one up. Just sign in, log in, you can create things. I'll come back to this in a second. But once you've created this, you've created your account, start a new citation list. If you just click on that, you can name it. I'm not going to do that because I already have one. I'm just going to go to my citation lists. So if I click on this, there's protest project. Open up your list. Have that citation list open. Make sure it says MLA9. Then come back to the school website. Go to the library link. Scroll down to the databases. Probably the most useful one will be opposing viewpoints in context. So I would go ahead and click on that. I would also go over here and make sure you include both. This will search global issues in context as well as opposing viewpoints, so gives you a little bit more. So I am going to search for abortion because I know you can't use that. I would start by immediately narrowing it down. You have a bunch of different results. Change the publication date. I would go to maybe the last 10 years or so. Usually don't want to be too much more kind of beyond the last 10 years, or the information might not be quite as accurate. Apply that. Also, make sure you check full text documents. That you don't want just abstract, you want the full text. So then you can come up here, you could look through all of them, but you could just pick some. Viewpoints will give you both sides of the issue, kind of pros and cons, so to speak. I'm just going to click magazines to narrow it down a little bit more. Often there's good information in those. So if I'm looking through here, I see, okay, maybe this seems to fit what I want to do. I scroll through. If I see this is useful and I'm probably going to use it, I would download it. Again, this helps to have a folder set up where you're going to download them. I already do. So if I click download in the OneDrive, just to show you where it is, in OneDrive, I have a folder set up as protest project. I'm just going to save it there. Now I have it. I can read it, go back to it, do whatever I need to whenever I need to. So I'm going to close that. Also, if I know I'm going to use it, I need the citation information. Easiest thing and best thing to do is click on Cite, make sure it says MLA 9th, and then click EasyBib. This is going to export it to EasyBib. And as long as I have my protest project, just click this, as long as I have my protest project citation list open, it's going to save it there. Okay. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to it. Do the same thing. Say I'm going through and I find something else that might be useful. Requires more than the courts. I see that that might be useful. I'm going to click on it. If I'm going to use it, same thing. Download it. You have to go through this extra step. Download it to the file. It's in that folder. Click Save. Again, don't forget to cite it. You need the citation information. Export it to EasyBib. Finalize it. Now you'll see that's part of my citation list as well. So say I go back here, I feel like I've exhausted what I can find with, Gale, basically opposing in global issues and context. ProQuest is also a very useful one. So I'm going to go there, make sure full text is checked. Search abortion again. So this, again, narrow it down. Publication date, I'm just going to go with the last 5 years. That's going to cut it in about half. Full text is already checked. Let's say we'll just go with scholarly journals. Those are often quite useful. So I'm scrolling through again. Maybe I see something from Ireland because I'm not sticking just to the United States. So I click on this. It's going to be very similar. If I see, so here's the full text. You notice over here as well, this is similar to opposing viewpoints, I forgot to point out, but you'll see these other sources over here that could be useful. You can narrow down subjects. You can kind of go beyond if you want to go into public health, advocacy, ethics of it. That's all option as well. I'm going to download it again because I'm going to use this later. Same steps basically as with the other databases. So now that is also in my folder. Going back to this, I'll click Cite. This one is a little bit different. You have to change this to MLA 9th title casing. That'll correct the capitalization that's wrong in the title. Again, export it to EasyBib. Just click Continue, and then when it prompts you, do it without abstract. Like that. Import it. Now that goes to the same citation list that I still had open. I could keep doing that with all the databases. I encourage you to find all your information in the databases. It's reliable, it's going to be usable. You don't have to worry about it. If you do a Google search, you're going to have to wonder, I mean, if you're good at kind of discerning between reliable sources and unreliable sources, fine, you can do a Google search, but I would start with the databases. This is all reliable. It's all going to be usable information, and it's going to help your essay. One other thing with EasyBib is if I were to search something outside, so say I ended up, and this has nothing to do with abortion, but just say I end up with this particular, actually it's a blog, it's not going to work too well. If I have an article that works well, I found it even through a Google search or you're just searching the New York Times, something like that. If you copy the URL here, go back to EasyBib, click on Dashboard and the website. If you paste the URL here, if it's from a well-known source, like say NewYorkTimes.com, Time.com, Newsweek, something along those lines, it's likely going to find the information, and you can basically do the same thing, and you'll notice it is now added to my list. The reason I'm asking you to use EasyBib is if you find all your information, you save it to this citation list in EasyBib. When you're done, you can just click Export All, go to Microsoft Word, Export, and you're going to see it creates a completely properly formatted, alphabetized, capitalized, works cited page for you. Everything you need, all the information is here. You should double check, make sure the capitalization is okay, but generally speaking, it's pretty solid. This also sets up what you're going to need for the parenthetical citations. If you're using these in your essay, the left margin, whatever the first thing is for the entry, that's what goes into the parenthetical citation within your paper or possibly in some slides, on a pamphlet, handout, whatever it might be. So you see here, it's going to be Anderson. There's also another author, so it would be Anderson and DeSanctis in the parenthetical citation. This has no author, so you just need part of the article title to distinguish it from others. Probably just bad would be enough. Keep it in quotation marks to show that it's an article title, and then that would be in the parentheses. This one would just be this last name. This one would be this last name at all. So you have the information there. If you have a properly formatted works cited page, it helps with the citations as well. This is why I'm saying use the databases, use EasyBib. If you have any questions, by all means, please ask me. Thanks. Hope this was helpful.